This podcast is sponsored by Field Agent Canada.
Phil, I think you know, and most people who know me know, that I'm not a huge fan of demos. I do love the sampling. I want people to try my product, but I'm not convinced that the demos available today for vendors are very effective. I think they chew up a lot of time. There's a lot of product waste, and I'm never convinced that they're actually targeting the right people.
Okay, Smarty Pants, what do you do that's different?
Buy and try from Field Agent. 300,000 consumers in their shopping panel that goes across the country. These people go to the store, buy your product, have to complete a survey on what they loved, what they didn't love about your product. Get that feedback to you as quickly as possible so that you can start making the right decisions.
I like that. I think it's also really great for products that are really difficult to sample.
Absolutely. Shampoo, laundry detergent, toothpaste, deodorant, endless. And you think about it, Phil, these people get to take the product home into their own homes, into their natural environments, and give this stuff a try. It's affordable, it's fast, it's across the country, all cities. It is awesome.
This podcast is sponsored by Field Agent Canada. You guys know us. We don't endorse anyone or any product or any service we don't believe in. We've been customers of Field Agent before. They're amazing. If you need to drive trial, you need Field Agent Canada. Head to www.fieldagentcanada.com to check it out.
Hey, welcome to This Commerce Life, an unscripted podcast that focuses on the stories behind small and independent Canadian retail and Canadian CPG.
What we try and do is deliver or pull out the story of our guests and give them to you. You know, the good, the bad, the ugly of retail and CPG in Canada. We're filling a need because we think that retail is hard on the best of days, but it's also a wonderful, wonderful place to grow up and make your living.
We also think that the industry, nor the people that inadvertently find themselves in the industry, really understand the industry at all. They don't really understand what goes on behind the scenes.
So listen to us, Phil and Kenny. We'll unravel it for you. We'll give you the story. We'll give you the story behind the story.
I don't know what the last word of that sentence was going to be, but I wasn't expecting spreadsheet.
Oh, Jesus.
Spreadsheet.
Nobody looks. Nobody looks.
Nobody looks at.
You're a spreadsheet? Is that what you're
God, listen to Save on Foods. Nobody's looked into the portal to see how anything's doing. Nobody. I already know that. Like, I know that they have.
Performance-wise,
Why I want to start looking. Then I start looking at what we're selling in, and I'm thinking, why is this selling not matching the fucking sell out? Is anybody looking?
Okay, so Kenny's talking about POS performance, right? So
period. Who cares about the rest?
Store.
I hate factory sales. If one more person throws factory sales at me, I'm going to throw them off a goddamn bridge.
I love it. I love it. This conversation starting already with words I barely recognize.
Don't worry about what you put into warehouses. All that counts is what goes in a person's bag and goes to their house. The rest is bullshit. It's only what sells.
So
that's the number.
So what you sell to a retailer is yay, but it's yay for like 30 seconds, and then the worry about
or less
is a consumer actually buying it, right? So on the shelf and then off the shelf is where you really.
It's funny. I was talking to my brother about this. Yeah. Between GSF and CHFA, we were having quite a number of like retailer wins.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, this must be surreal for you, like, you know, getting into places we shop at and like actually having like big retailers reach out and be interested." And I was like, no, it's cool. And he was like, "Oh, you don't seem excited about that." I was like, "No, it's not that I'm not excited about that. It's that I assumed that would happen. Like, I didn't think that was the tough part of this equation. It's the actually getting consumers to buy." And I tell all the retailers I talk to this, I'm like, you know, I'm happy to be in your store, lucky to be in your store, but making sure I never get out of your store is my main goal. And so, yeah, I completely get it.
Yeah.
But this is where it becomes really complicated in our world of retail CPG, is a lot of times you can spend all day doing all the marketing you want.
Yeah.
Right. The unfortunate part, large times, it is the support of the trade marketing that will help move the product. I mean, like Phil he can sit there all day and do all the SEO he wants, and it's critical for search and it's critical to find. But you still got to get people into the damn store, into those stores, and to buy it off their shelves. And at that point, you're competing with
probably 8 feet, maybe 12 feet of sauces. Do you know what I mean? Now you're starting to think, well, how do I differentiate? We'll all come up, oh, you can do shelf danglers, shelf talkers. Half the retailers don't want them.
Yeah.
The other
Right?
half
So what else?
The other half
So what's the
can't.
trigger for the consumer?
Yeah.
Where's the sign? Oh, it's on sale. And that is a big motivator once you're in said retailer. Other retailers, not so much. Whole Foods, maybe it's not a sign. Maybe it's a cool variety. It's just something interesting or whatever. But this is why our game is so costly, right?
Yeah. No, it's I know you hate demos, but for me, demos.
I hate them just because you know why? It's such an untargeted way to do things. And I'll tell you why I've seen that. They'll tell you the stores they want to go in. They'll charge you $350, $400. If it's a shitty day, what'd you get?
Oh, I do our demos myself, and we're building out a team internally because our product
But don't assume the big retailers want you. They have programs. They make money on demos, not your demo.
True.
The demo company that they had a contract with.
Yeah.
That's where the money is.
But I don't know if this is true or not. I've spoken to a few of them, and I've always asked the question, can I bring in my own team? They're like, oh, there's still a small fee to pay, but for the most part, yeah. We spoke to Whole Foods about it because they have their own demo teams also, and they were like, no, you can still come in and do it.
Whole Foods is one of the exceptions. They still play better. London, highly unlikely they will, unless you're the owner, the founder, blah, 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 blah. But then you got to do the math. Is it worth? I mean, then it's time again.
Yeah.
Save on foods. I don't know because remember, marketing departments in retailers are profit centers. They're not there for the benefit of you. Nobody gives a shit about the vendor. It's all about the retailer making cash money.
This is going to happen throughout this call.
I know your thumbs up thing is all over.
I don't know why, but I was on another call on Tuesday.
Yeah.
It was also being recorded, entirely different platform. And this thing just keeps happening where my profile keeps throwing up thumbs up at the most random times. And
there is something on the 3 dot thing. I think Phil showed me one time because I think mine did, and then I shut it off forever.
I don't know. It's kind of become part of my
No, there's something there. I thought Phil, you told me how to do something. Was it in settings?
I don't know. I don't think.
Or background and effects. Check background and effects. I think there's something there that allows not. I don't. Those aren't emojis, but whatever you call that shit.
The reactions,
I don't know.
Backgrounds and effects.
No,
I think it's in there.
I don't care. I think it's kind of amusing.
No, I think it's fun.
That makes me laugh. I'm okay with it too.
It is oddly very good on its timing for when it shows up. Like the thumbs up always show up at the right time.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Our AI overlords have figured out when I want to throw a thumbs up and like put it out at the right time anyway.
They've just decided what your reaction is going to be.
Yeah,
that's what it
They're
is.
like Viggy seems happy, and
yeah.
No, they're like, Viggy, you are happy.
You are.
I agree with that statement.
You know,
you make so with it, baby.
You make so many decisions in the course of like running and starting a business that I'm very happy to be told when to be happy. I'm like, cool, yeah, that's nice. That's one thing I don't have to think about.
Before we get, because it's you, and we could do this for hours.
I love it.
We should do an intro so that the audience knows who they're talking. Because if you
are we doing a podcast?
Yeah, we're doing the podcast.
Oh, I thought we were just shooting the shit.
Thanks for showing up, man. Like,
I thought we were just shooting the shit. I didn't know we were doing a podcast.
I should have just showed up at your house, Kenny. You know,
that's awesome.
You know, we're basically neighbors, right?
Where are you?
I'm on Broadway in Nanaimo.
Oh, you're just down the street. I could walk to you.
Yeah,
literally. I was listening to some of your earlier podcasts because, I do research to prepare and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it was with Sarah or Kyle from Caliente, and you were talking about like where you live, and I'm like, wait a minute, Kenny's my neighbor.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Funny, that is very funny.
I'm actually more surprised. I didn't know we were doing a podcast. I thought, we got Viggy today. We'll just shoot the show with Viggy, see what's going on in the hood.
All right. So for the audience,
we've
got Kenny's neighbor Viggy. no, but we have Viggy on. He'll introduce himself, but he and Matt run Tocha Foods, and they are amazing. The sauce is amazing. I have it in my kitchen. I've given it away. I like it a lot. So I'm excited to have you on. And then we've been really lucky. We've been lucky to be able to hang out with you for like 6 months now. And that's
lucky
been
for
really
us anyway.
So yeah, no, it's been it's been fun to be part of the ride and see the success you guys are building. So so I'm going to shut up. The next 45 minutes is you. You tell us, you start where you want to start. You tell us what you want to tell us. We're here. It's cool to talk to you.
Go back a little bit. I'd love to know what you did before you did this, or like, were you always in this? Is the family thing? Like,
sure.
Give us some history.
One, thank you for having me. I feel equally lucky to be talking to y'all. And I don't mean this just to kind of reciprocate what you're saying. I was doing a little bit of happy hour with Jen from Pop Off yesterday.
Yeah.
I was, we do a little like founder catch up every now and then, support each other. She's lovely. She even came and like built our booth for like Good to Grow at the PNE.
No way.
I'll have nothing to do till a demo at Whole Foods at 9 to staff. Why don't I help you build this? I was like, sure, that's amazing. And so we were talking, and I was just telling them how much I appreciate having Phil and Kenny like help us out. You guys help us out, because I am completely new to the CPG space. So Tocha Foods is the first CPG company I've co-founded or founded. Co-founded. It's the first company I've founded, and we make hot sauce without the heat. I'll dive into that later. But before that, I was born in India, grew up in Singapore. I got my undergrad in aerospace engineering. So I lived in the US for a while, got a degree to try and be a rocket scientist. And I realized a little too late that I couldn't actually work in the US aerospace sector because I wasn't a US green card holder. And so spent about 10 years of my life working for this really great electric motor company in sales and business development, engineering initially, and then sales and business development. But I've always loved Vancouver. My younger brother came here to do his undergrad, and I used to come visit him multiple times a year. And, I've always grown up in warm climates, India, Singapore, Atlanta, and I hate the heat. I love the cold, I love the rain, and so Vancouver just like spoke to me every time I came. And so, I've always wanted to start something of my own, and I always wanted to do it in a place where I'd really love to be at, and Vancouver ticked all those boxes. So I moved here in 2022, did my MBA from UBC with a focus on entrepreneurship, was tossing around a few startup ideas. Always thought I would do something with climate change and climate change adaptation, something maybe on like hydroponic food farming, increasing the resiliency of like food supply chains. And then, after I finished my MBA, I was brainstorming ideas with my brother, and he goes, people love your cooking. He was like, I still think food is like your path. And I do enjoy being in the kitchen the most. That's where I'm the happiest. That's my form of like creativity, if you will. So I was like, you know what? I was working part-time at a local investment bank. I quit on January 1st, no safety net. And I went full on into starting Tocha Foods. Matt reached out to me me and Matt were friends from the MBA program. We did a ton of our group projects together. He's like the super studious one. He wanted to top the MBA cohort and like prove to himself that he could do it. So he was always on top of it. And he came to me on like week 1 of the MBA, and he was like, I don't know, there's something about you. Whatever startup you do, I want to be a part of it. And I was like, yeah, cool. And then I like started chasing girls and talking to them instead. And I was like, oh, And then Matt, ever patient, reaches back out right after we finish our MBA. And he's like, so, you have great ideas. You're all solution. You're all people. You need someone in the background who can make things work. You need an operations guy. Would you like me as a co-founder? And I was like, 100%. I was like, I'm self-aware enough to know what my deficiencies are. And structure is a major deficiency of mine. So, we had some wine. Matt's a sommelier. So we had some wine at Capo and Spritz in Yaletown, and decided he was come on board, and we officially founded the company.
Slide that in there, Master Sommelier.
He is.
Yeah, you've got an aeroscience degree. He's
and you're making sauces.
Whatever, okay, I got it. Yeah.
That's funny.
It's it's actually quite possibly the biggest benefit I've gained from starting this company is I get to text Matt at any time a picture of a wine list, and I just get responses back with arrows on what I should order now. It's
Wait, that's awesome, man. You got that in your pocket, take it.
Oh, I've done it when I was in London on a trip. I just text him and I'm like, I hope he's awake. 30 seconds later, I get arrows back. Yeah, it's actually, I think, as much as people have tried and loved our sauces, I think that one benefit might supersede everything.
That's funny.
That is amazing.
That's quite the interesting path. I mean, it's probably a little early to get into this one, but I'm dying to know, did you ever think, and I'd love Matt's answer to, did you ever think that the complexity of wine and being a sommelier or rocket science was not even as difficult as CPG? Could you have ever imagined how complicated CPG is?
It sounds like a joke, but it's actually true, right? When you think about the CPG space, to a large extent, at least from like the product creation standpoint, it's unstructured. There are so many paths you can go down.
Yeah.
Ultimately, like being an aerospace engineer has rules that you're bound by. You can only design things within certain parameters and certain terms. And so CPG, there's no real right or wrong way to do this. There's how things have been done.
Yeah.
And there's no right or wrong product. If you look at like the products that were popular 5 or 10 years ago, they're very different than what is popular now, right? Like I don't really see a lot of people getting like Halo Top ice cream these days, for example. But like I remember in like the mid 2010s, like I would be going through a pint every 3 days. And so it's Halo Top, like the low calorie ice cream, they were like the ones who like pioneered it. Huge exit.
So the trend skips people along the way too.
Literally, because you know what? It's all butter fat. I couldn't give two shits about the weight loss on an ice cream. No.
Their story is actually super interesting, but no, it's a wide open playing field, and that's actually what I love about it. You know, I said earlier, I hate structure, and so I don't know if daunting's the right word, as interesting as the space is, the fact that you can kind of do whatever you want is very appealing to me. Yeah. So yes, it is more complex, but it's complex in a way that I enjoy.
Yeah, I guess it's a different
chaotically complex, actually.
Yeah. And yet there are rules of sort of engagement. It's just because I know that, because I can hear you guys a lot of times when we're doing sessions with you, you know, whether it's this group or the other things we've done at BC Food and Bev. Yeah. I think everybody's looking for an answer. And how many times have we all looked at you and said, well, it kind of depends. Everything's a kind of depends. Because, there's a set of rules. And then there's, you know, the rules within the rules. Yeah. And then there's the game that plays outside of the rules.
Yeah.
Well, I sometimes I laugh because I think we sound like crazy people, right? Because you come and go, listen, so what happens next? And we'll go, this is supposed to happen next. Unless the unicorn with the cherry stuck in its horn shows up, or the giraffe with the purple spots. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean? And you're like, sorry, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, right? Like it mostly goes this way, but not always. Like
you can't have firm plans that you stick to at the end of the day. I think fluidity is the most important thing here. I was telling someone else this. I think my favorite part about starting a business is that time slows down. Like my whole life, I felt like, oh my God, it's October already. I just celebrated New Year's a few weeks ago. What's going on? And with starting a business, like time entirely slows down. And, you know, we've only been a little over a year since we launched in June of last year. And even January of this year, the plans and the ideas we had for what the company would be then are so different than what they are today. Like, I don't even know if I'm almost certain we didn't have a coherent idea of going into retail back then. We were like, oh, CP, like we'll do direct to consumer the whole time. We'll do some stores, but like it was always and we've had conversations about this.
Yeah.
And now retail is such a larger part of what we're doing. And you just have to go meet your customers where they are. So that's a different conversation.
I think that's sort of the trick, though. It's more of that, like, you got to just understand that, you know, no matter what we all think, I mean, the majority of people still shop in stores.
Yeah.
Whatever that means. I mean, I don't care which stores. I don't care what stores. But especially in food, for the most part, it is still a lot of stores.
I mean, that was a simple realization that made us go, okay, yeah, people will buy online. They will support us
Sure
online.
they will.
If we want to be a mass market brand like we eventually hope to be, then like you can't do that without going into your local store and being able to pick up our
Pretty
sauce.
tough not to.
Yeah.
It's doable. There's certain commodities that probably lend better to it. Certain categories might lend better to it. But for the most part, yeah, you're kind of, it's pretty tough not to hit retail somewhere in the mess of this game.
And we genuinely thought the journey would be very difficult, right? We were like, I think we had this false perception that like retail likes to stick in its traditional ways. And I think the thing that's been very enlightening and super encouraging is that doing the trade shows and meeting the retailers, it is incredible to see how open they are to new things. It's incredible to see how open they are to actually trying things out and bringing in products that people may not know. There's obviously your part of the bargain where you're like, hey, I promise to put in the effort to make sure that it's successful.
Yeah.
But getting in the door is still a big barrier at the end of the day. And I'm always surprised to see how receptive retail has been to try, an entirely new product in a category that we think doesn't exist, because our whole goal was to create something that was in a blue ocean.
Right.
Yeah.
Why don't you give us a little bit more on that? Tell us what it is, so that people understand that. Your tagline in your head is really cool, right? And it's kind of bizarre when you hear it. It's kind of oxymoron, right? But
you're wearing a pepper shirt. Yeah, we make a new kind of condiment that we call spiced sauces, and we describe it to people. Our tagline, like you said, it's hot sauce without the heat. It was a very intentional decision for us, actually. So when we were coming up with the idea of what company we wanted to create, like, I love making pasta from scratch. I love making sauces. I even make ice cream. I just love cooking in general. And so I was playing around the idea of like exactly what I wanted to start. And the one thing that was important to me was I didn't want to do something that would compete with companies that were already doing something similar.
Right.
So we went back, we were intentional about it, and we tried to break down CPG companies into what kind of need they fill, right? And so there's a few basic categories is what we realized. There's like your authentic, traditional foods, right? Like someone is making something that their family has done very well for decades, and they're now commercializing it. There's someone who's doing a new kind of branding on an existing product. Like there's like tinned fish, like Fish Wife came in and they like redid the packaging, and it's the same product, it's just a lot cooler looking. So there's a new brand to take. And then there are CPG companies that either add stuff or take stuff out, right? So like foods with added protein, added fiber, added micronutrients, those kind of variations on a product. And then foods with lower fat and lower sodium and those kind of variations on a product. Right. And for us, we didn't want to go in and compete with hot sauce companies. There's amazing hot sauce companies out there. There's a need for the product. But as we started interviewing people, we realized that most people that we interviewed, we'd give them bottles of our sauce. We put QR codes on it back before we launched, and we try to aggregate all the feedback. Most people we interviewed didn't use or didn't like hot sauce or couldn't handle the heat, but they didn't have an alternative for what they would flavor their meals with, right? And it seems obvious to us now, but back then that was a shocking revelation, because I love hot sauce. I was like, yeah, I put it on everything. And then we started thinking about it, and I was like, what do people put on food if they don't like hot sauce? And the answer was often like salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper, garlic, normal stuff.
Yeah, like you get a pizza and like you think it's like one note or bland, like, okay, maybe you put sriracha, but if you don't like sriracha, there's really not a whole lot you can do on there. And we started to test that hypothesis. And so, I remember launching in June, and the initial variations of our sauce were still closer to hot sauces. They were still a little too hot, but they were made from my palate, right? And so as we did probably 20 to 25 farmers markets and like pop-ups in the first 6 months of our launch. And we reiterated where we got to the point where we now, I think, can truly say we make condiments that have the body of a hot sauce, the flavor profiles of a hot sauce, but not the heat of a hot sauce. And, you know, whenever I'm doing a demo, I'll always be like, hey, do you want to try some Tocha? And people will be like, I don't even know what that is. And I'll be like, it's hot sauce without the heat. And they'll just look at me like I'm insane. Or half of them will look at me like I'm insane, and half of them will go, oh my God, that is the product I've been waiting for, because my husband or my partner loves hot sauce and I don't have anything I can do. And the people who are confused, they'll try it and they'll go, well, the heat never comes. There's spices, there's warmth, there's like really deep flavors, but the heat never comes. They're like, it's hot sauce without the heat. And it's really cool to see that like vision of what you would hope.
Materializes.
Yeah. It's definitely one of the ones you have to try to sort of actually appreciate what the hell you just said, because it's really weird when you try it too, because you're thinking, okay, I don't know, whatever, I don't even know what the hell that means. And then you try to think, oh, well, that was kind of interesting. I kind of get I get what you mean now.
That was so key for us, because we wanted a blue ocean. We wanted something where like we weren't cannibalizing other people's customers. We wanted something where we were bringing new people into the fold, where we were including people who didn't have an option, and creating something healthy at the same point. So we use all whole ingredients, creating something that has, you know, low sodium and not that many calories, but doesn't taste like it. And so there were all those additional attributes I knew we could fold into the product. But the core of the product is we're making something for people who don't have something they use in that space.
Yeah, but it's kind of cool. It took me a little bit, like when we first met, it took me a little bit for it to sink in, right? But if you really think about it, like, so if you're at home and you're thinking about this, and you kind of go, I don't get it. You think about this, the other way is and we'll be right back.
Hey guys, a little mid-roll call out for our special guests, or special supporters, I should say, of the podcast. Phil and I would love to acknowledge LeBeau Excel Sales and Marketing, our friends Matt and his team. They're an amazing, award-winning Canadian brokerage. They represent top brands in both the conventional and the natural channels, and all sub-channels within. So they do food, they do drug, they do grocery, they do independent, they do natural. Like, these guys are everywhere. And they've been doing it for a long time. Awesome people, really great to work with. And you can feel really, really comfortable using them. Doesn't matter the size of the retailer. These are just classy people, class acts.
They've got a national team, a team that has really deep knowledge of all sorts of things, certifications. They understand gluten-free, organic, non-GMO, vegan, supplements, and HABA. LeBeau Excel, really brings meaningful value to both retailers and category managers. That's important when you're looking for a brokerage.
Just a really well-rounded group. They do everything from food to HABA, which you really don't find a lot of these days out there. You don't find groups that can actually manage all those sides. I just really, really cool people, and they just do all the cool categories across conventional and super strong in natural health. Super strong.
I think the other thing about this team that's kind of cool is when you've got such deep knowledge, in retail channels and segments and subsegments. One of the other things that makes them an award-winning team is they don't rest there. They are into they've invested heavily, and they're into technology as well. Obviously now we don't go anywhere without talking about AI. But these guys have spent a lot of time integrating technology, AI, scan data they buy. They pair it with advanced reporting tools, so they're able to give you smarter insights and a strategic edge in the market. They're making data-based decisions, and they can come to you with recommendations based on that data. So, you're getting on one side a really experienced team that understands the industries that you got to get into. And then that team is now using data, and lots of data automation, AI, to help you make, stronger decisions. So a really strong brokerage that you should be thinking about if you're looking for brokerage. If you want to find out more, head to lebeauexcel.com. That's LEBEAUEXCEL.com, and talk to the team, see if you're a fit. And now back to the podcast. If you're a hot sauce person, You can insert favorite hot sauce here, and you can put it on any product or anywhere, right? It doesn't matter what cuisine, it doesn't matter what, almost without exception, you can stick a hot sauce on anything and
Yeah.
it's okay. But if you go the other way, it's not like you can throw ketchup on everything,
Exactly.
and you cannot throw mustard on everything,
No.
and Worcester sauce not on
No.
everything.
Hey,
Like, it's like all of a sudden, if you want
It's
to be a
tough to
sauce
find that one
person,
thing that
you
works
literally
on
need
most
18 sauces, right? Because you could
Yeah.
have a mayo, you could have,
Yeah.
but Tocha actually fits that bill.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I like that. I like it a
Yeah.
lot, actually. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. No, that was genuinely it. I was doing a demo at Stong's this Monday, and the number one demographic of people who won't try our sauce after hearing the tagline are people who love hot sauce.
Right.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, the product's not for me. I actually love hot sauce." And I'll be like, "No, I love hot sauce too. But like, not everyone does, and there isn't an alternative." And they'll try it and they'll be like, "Oh, this is like
Very
really
tasty.
like it's
Yeah.
flavorful, but the heat's
Yeah.
never coming." And they'll generally be like, I have a lot of sauces in my fridge though, and so I'll try it once I clear a few out. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's fair. We had one of those interactions, and about 15 minutes later, someone who'd bought some food to eat at Stong's came by. He was like, you know what? Never mind. I'm buying a bottle right now because I'm having my meal in the Stong's like cafe that's there.
Yeah.
And he was like, I need something extra on there. And so he like grabbed one. He's like, I'm gonna put the original on my food right now. And I was just like, oh, that's like it's wild
amazing.
conversion in real time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. I really, it's a very smart iteration, and then it's a great innovation, right? Because it allows people not to get left out, right? Because that happens too, right? I'm sure you get that feedback, right? Like in our household, it's the same. The people that do sauces, all of a sudden you're into like, how hot is it? Like, what else could we put in it? What do you use it for? And everyone else is like, right. Let me throw some more salt on my.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's 100% it.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that I'm the one who came up with this because our family loves hot sauce. Like, everyone likes heat.
Yeah.
But I think it was just the yearning to build something that hadn't been built. I wanted to get out of those categories of like traditional, authentic, new branding only, like reductive in terms of taking stuff out, additive in terms of adding things in. I was like, I wanted to combine that. So I love our branding, but I didn't want that to be the only thing we did.
Right.
I love that our recipes have a root in traditionalism, but they don't taste traditional. I love that there's additive elements to it. I love that there's subtractive elements, is less sodium, all of these things.
Yeah.
And so we were like, these are features we want to include, but the actual product we want to do is I actually probably have to give credit to a part of this thought process to Matt, because I'm very solutions oriented. I'm like, if you bring me a problem, I'm always trying to find the solution. And Matt will always harp on me. He'll be like, you have 100 solutions. We have to identify what the problem is first, right? And like we tested out starting a few startups when we were in our MBA program, and he would be on me nonstop because we tried to do a summer entrepreneurial project where we tried to do like a vineyard analytics company. And he was always on me, like, stop giving me the solutions. No, we need to find out what the problem is. And so when we were trying to figure out what to do with some of my initial recipes that eventually got, reiterated to be what Tocha is now, he was always like, what is the problem we're solving? What is the problem we're solving? And I'm like, people need more flavor. And he'd be like, no, like, we need more. And I'll be like, okay. And so, yeah, we put a proper framework in place. We went and like interviewed a ton of people. And I think we truly found something that is a genuine need to address. So yeah, it's been a wild journey, but super, super excited for like where
cool.
From where we started just 16, 18 months ago.
Oh, it's cool. I mean, it's just, it's because again, if we said at the beginning, it's not an easy game. It really isn't. And if you really believe in it, it's tough because you can believe in a lot of things that we get to the point you're thinking, man, this should have been so much easier. And yet it's just not. But I do like your product for that reason. I do. It's just, It's bizarre. It's a little weird, but really not really. But yeah, but no, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense, but it does.
I think both of you, when we first talked, this was what, January, Feb of this year, we were both like, I don't know what this dude is talking about. This sounds insane.
I don't know. Well, because it didn't make any sense.
And I think the changing point was GSF, when both of you tried the sauces for the first time.
Yeah.
And you both came back and you were like, this is insane. Like, this is like, this actually makes complete
Well, now it makes sense, right? It's just trying to make sense of it, because the category is not run that way. It is either going to be a high sugar, vinegary potentially, or hot. And there's really not much in between, unless you're going to do something at home on your own, right? And whatever that means, I have no clue, but it's that sort of thing, right? You know, you pick up packaging and you're looking at it, you know, Phil and I are like, you probably can do heat. It's not the end of the world. But, you know, like my family can't necessarily do the heat. But what option do I have? I either have heat or I got high sugar, and I don't feel like the sugar a lot of times. And there's times I don't mind it, but you know, it's there's nothing in that sweet pocket.
There's always a personal bias to things that you create, right? And for me, I hate ketchup. Like,
I'm not a ketchup guy either.
Don't like ketchup. The product made no sense to me. I would watch like YouTube videos of like where ketchup came from, and like there'd be all this rich history of how ketchup was actually created. And then you think of the product now and you're like, you know, ketchup actually comes from like fish sauce in the Philippines, and like it's got this like wild story behind it. But true ketchup, as it was first created, tastes nothing like what ketchup tastes today. In a lot of ways, ketchup was like the OG spice sauce. It was a flavor sauce. And it got mass produced and like scaled to this point where it just became like a quick, sugary shelf.
It's just a high sugar hit.
And I was just like, this cannot be what the pinnacle of
I love you both, but I love ketchup.
Listen, I don't mind with French fries, but it's not my go-to. I can have French fries with just salt. I don't need the ketchup. I don't need ketchup with anything.
But to the point is I use it on things I love, but it's not a universal sauce. Like, you won't catch me putting this on rice. You won't catch me putting it on weird shit. Like, it goes on very conventional things for me. Like, a burger without ketchup is weird to me.
See, right? I could do it, no problem.
You know, but I like, so I've got to say, like, the iteration of your sauces in my fridge, the original is probably the one that goes on as many Asian dishes as I can find.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. And then the salsa verde, is that what it's called?
The pineapple spice.
Yeah, the pineapple spice. That's like the sauce of the summer, man. Like right now, it's I'll go back and take a picture of the levels in it, but it seems to come in and out of the fridge a whole lot right now. So.
You know, the cool thing is too, like, again, like sometimes with eggs, because again, I if I never ketchup on my life, I'll survive the plant. I don't need it on anything. At times, probably like you, Viggy, if it's on the table and I've got some French fries, I don't mind a few French fries ketchup, but most of it with salt is good to go. I don't really need it on a burger. I don't care. Like, I could care less if ketchup's around.
Yeah.
It really doesn't do shit for me. So back to that. But your sauce, like, I find all of them are actually okay on eggs.
Yeah.
No, and it's not okay. They're actually really good on eggs. It's not okay, but it's kind of, because a lot of times what do you put on eggs? You don't want always heat.
Yeah.
So what do you go to? Salt, pepper, butter, so you get the fat, and you kind of park it there. But that's kind of, you're thinking, it's kind of boring, man. Like, I mean, I don't know. What are you gonna? We don't want a high sugar shit thing. So you think, it's not good. I don't want heat where I can't eat the egg anymore. So you think, fucking salt and pepper.
The original is, I think, the most incredible thing on eggs, and
it's awesome.
It's funny because,
they all lend to it.
But I've had 2 different people message me in the last 2 weeks, and they've been like, you've ruined eggs for me forever. Like, I cannot have eggs anymore without original on it. Both of them were like I really don't know how I ate eggs before I put the original on it. And then
let's help them out. Help them out. They all work on eggs. So now we just made life so much easier. Now you got variety on your eggs.
So I'll give you. So I owe you. Now I'm realizing I didn't send you the recipe, but like the egg and tomato, because I owe you the egg and tomato.
Yeah.
The original. So I'll send you that with a picture. The other one that I did was huevos ranchos with chili sauce, and it was
the sweetness kind of comes in and like cuts through all the earthier tones I'm imagining, and the eggs.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, Kenny, I told Phil, because we try to feature recipes every 2 weeks on our website, and we were building like a recipe cookbook, because when you create a product that no one knows what it is, you have to show people how to use them also, in addition to just using it as a condiment. So Phil had promised us like an Asian.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Clearly it didn't. Clearly the promise wasn't worth a hell of a lot.
No.
I've got a picture and everything. I forgot to put together.
I'm just saying. All I heard was I forgot.
Fucking nothing and providing him with anything. So
I forgot. All I heard.
Our Father's Day newsletter just went out, so like as soon as it's ready, yours will be one of the next ones to go out. So please send us over. That'd be amazing.
And if people are listening, like when they listen to this, like don't make it complicated. It's not like, just add to the eggs. Like literally, there's no complicated. You don't have to be a chef. Like it's that easy. I mean, if you could put it in other things, I'm sure you could chef out. But like honestly, on the eggs, it's mindless. I mean, come on.
Use it like a condiment.
Seriously, that's it.
Yeah. It's so good. So
I don't know.
good. Oh my God.
I didn't understand at the beginning. Like I remember with first time, okay, I don't know this guy.
Okay, wait, but I'm curious now, because they're like, what other recipes have you seen? Like anything that's really surprising to you?
Something cool.
Like I'm trying to think of what I haven't thought of to use it with.
The rice made total sense. Like I understood that. That was a good. Eggs made like beyond sense. That was a winner chicken dinner. How about on meats and things like that? Have you marinated and stuff with it? Like have you done something?
So I'm a vegetarian. I have been my whole life, but my brothers aren't. And so my brother will consistently marinate the Tocha original chicken in the Tocha original and then sous vide it. And so like, he'll use that as the entire marinade and then grill it afterwards.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
I can see that. Absolutely incredible. We actually have a catering company that started to do that too. Okay. So they use Tocha original as the flavor base, but then they'll marinate it with like other things added into it. So sometimes they'll add like a barbecue sauce, sometimes they'll add a few other things, but the original as a marinade is incredible. Okay. Yeah. Most of the flavor combinations we get are what you would expect, right? So like roasted veggies on tacos with the verde, or like
that makes sense, yeah.
Brunch foods like potatoes and like chicken and eggs with the original.
Yeah.
And like yuzu with seafood or salad. Those are like pretty.
Yeah.
Then we get some really cool ones where someone had reached out and they were like, that yuzu sauce is like a citrusy umami barbecue sauce. And they were like, we put that on our barbecue meats nonstop. We had a chef reach out and was like,
I can't see that, but I'm going to try it.
We did it so consistently that we actually added it to our bottle, because on the back of our bottle we tell people like what flavor pairings we recommend, and we heard that so consistently. Another one was a chef had reached out and he said the verde is my favorite because I put it on top of steak as almost like a more flavorful chimichurri replacement.
Okay. I can see that. I can see that.
That makes sense.
And I think the most unique one, because I love food, I cook all the time. Like I'm thinking of how to use it, and I never thought of this, but like a ton of people use the original as the sauce base. Like they add it to an existing pasta sauce into pasta or in a lasagna. But I also have people who use it mixed in with some marinara as their pizza base, and they make like pizza, and they're like, oh, it's like this like delicious like slightly Indian spice like pizza base that is incredible. And so
I can see that too, actually.
Yeah, we made it vegan, but we have coconut cream in there, so it's got like this creaminess, so it's good to cook with. And
don't fool around with the pastas and the pizzas. Don't do it.
No.
Buddy, relax.
Let's take it easy now, please.
What's the last name, Kenny?
Just settle down, everybody. Let's just play in our sandboxes. We can extend. let's not go nuts here. Take it easy.
You know, your take on that reminds me of something when we were creating the yuzu sauce. There's this lovely lady, Kiko. She owns like a Japanese chili oil company called Okojo. And she was in our commissary kitchen, just the sweetest lady. And like when we were coming up with the recipes, we would, give her samples and whatnot. And I was still trying to figure out the yuzu recipe. That one took forever. In my brain, right, it had a lot of the components of like what you would have sushi with. So it has ginger in there. It has horseradish in there.
Right.
It has like miso, soy, like a lot of elements in there. So we were having her taste it, and a lot of people accuse me of being an anchor bias. So like I'll ask people for their opinion, but then I will like so enthusiastically share my opinion that people often just end up agreeing with it. And so I had my professors at UBC, Matt, a whole bunch of people are like, ask people for their opinion, but don't tell them what you think, because every time you tell them what they think, they just end up telling us exactly what you think back to us.
Just because your way is the right way. Like, why is that your
It's, it's your words, not mine.
Definitely your two words, definitively not mine. Stay away from pizza and stay away from the pasta. Case closed.
But to finish that story, Keiko tried the yuzu sauce, and she's obviously from Japan. She's Japanese, and she was like, "Oh, I love it." I was like, and we were like, "Hey, what would you like it? What do you think it'll be good with?" She's like, "It's so interesting. I have to think about it." And we're like, "Okay, what about seafood?" She was like, "Oh, it'll be amazing on seafood." Yeah,
Right.
like I can see that. I was like, "Oh, what about salads?" She was like, "Yeah, that makes sense. Like a dressing on its own." What about rice bowls, like poke bowls? She's like, "Oh, amazing." And then I go, "What about sushi?" And she goes, "Never sushi." Yeah.
Don't do that. That's wrong. No touch the certain things.
So the pasta pizza recommendation wasn't mine because I didn't want to piss the Venucci's of the world off.
No.
But that's what people come and tell us all the time. They're like, "Oh, I put a little bit in my pasta sauce and it's amazing." And I'm like, "Oh, that's great."
You know what we're gonna have to do, Viggy? We're gonna have to slide it into a sauce somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'll do though? I'll be very nice to both of us. Very interesting.
No, we're just not gonna tell you. We're not gonna tell you. Hey,
Don't fool with certain
how
things
is
in
the
life.
pasta,
They just
Venucci?
leave them
Like,
alone. The world is
maybe
nice. Let
it's
it
this
go.
time,
You know
maybe
what?
it's next time. Maybe
If
it's
you want to
like,
have
hey,
it with
whatever.
sushi, have it in the salad part. A little bit of oil as a nice dressing. That's nice. Even on
Viggy,
the,
I think we're gonna
I would
do
have it
this.
as a salad.
Yeah,
You
I'm
stay
okay.
away from the
As long as
pasta.
you're the one coordinating it, because I'm not pissing off the Italians. That much.
Exactly.
I'm not
Why do you
pissing
be
off
so
the
mean,
Japanese.
Shane?
I'm not pissing off the Italians. So
Exactly.
as
Don't
long
do it.
as
It's
you
not worth it.
eat on it, I'm very happy.
Not worth
I'm
it.
doing it. I think I'm going to insert an element of doubt in every dish I serve Venucci now. How's the dish, Venucci? How does it taste the same?
This is very interesting,
A
Mr.
little
Chang.
bit
Extra
different?
spice to it.
Like, did I put it in this time? Did I not put it in the? I don't know.
Oh my god.
What a piece of work, honestly.
I think there needs to be like a hidden camera recording this whole thing, because in all honesty, oh my god, I would pay for that content.
Well, what we're doing, okay, listen, so I'll give you one. So now we're on this topic with the two of you. So what we talked about is that we both would, because we like cooking too, is we would love to hang out with people who like cooking
Yeah.
and actually record the two of us and whomever cooking something.
Yeah.
You want to do something like that, and just for cool content, show people how to do this.
Yeah.
Like I'd be
We're
all
down.
over.
We're totally down. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Totally down.
Oh,
Just so
that
we're clear though, that
Yeah.
night there's no pasta, no pizza, and no sushi, and that's it. Case closed.
I make incredible pasta from scratch, like hand rolled pasta. Like I've been making pasta since I was 10 years
If you
old.
make the pasta, I'll make the sauce.
Are you okay with that, Kenny? Or
You make the pasta, I'll make
last
the
name
sauce.
is not Italian. I'm just checking to make sure that
An egg noodle pasta is an egg noodle pasta. We don't start fucking around with the sauce. Is where we're going to draw lines.
Well, I'll make the pasta because I cannot make sauce without adding a
I'll do the
little
sauce.
extra flair to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I always have to add like an extra step. Like I may throw a little bit of miso into my sauce. I may throw a little bit of
Hey,
mirin.
listen, we're gonna. You know what?
So
We're not going to do pasta. No pasta that night. We're off the pasta. We're going to do other foods.
No. I will break out my special pasta recipe that I only break out when it's for people I care about, which is my only egg yolk pasta. And
Okay,
so
we can do that.
yeah, I do like a pure egg yolk pasta with like it's like 70% tipo 00 and like 30% durum wheat semolina. And like 9 egg yolks in there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll make the pasta, you can make the sauce, and then we'll just do exactly what we're doing now, but in person.
Yeah. And Chang's attitude is so terrible. No pasta for Chang.
And you know what? We'll get Matt to just pick out all the wines that we're drinking that night.
Oh, I'm all over that now. Yeah.
He does, like, I think he specializes in French and Italian wines too.
So anyway, keep that in your mind, because that is something I think that would be fun to do.
I'm 100%. And in fact,
that's when we can get Phil to show us this, right? Because it was a rice recipe you had too. Didn't you have something really cool you were doing? No, that
I don't know. I've used it in so many. Honestly, so the egg and tomato is a favorite.
That one I definitely want to try, because you haven't stopped talking about that one. That one I wanted. You got to do.
Tocha original in some of my mapo tofu, and that was really good too. So kind of used it like a whole bunch of different ways.
Completely random story, but like when I was a kid, I love anime. I still love anime.
Yeah.
And as a kid, like 9, 10, 11 years old, there was this like anime that was called Cooking Master Boy. And it was about this like kid's journey to be like this like iron chef with like the legendary cooking and utensils, and like I'm this kid of like 10 years old just watching like cooking animes, and the first dish they ever made on that anime was mapo tofu. And like whenever I hear mapo tofu, it just takes me, like, it has such like a nostalgic like immediate memory that
so we do that with the sauce, that we all over it.
No,
it would be a really nice dinner.
We were about to do something earlier this year called Tocha Sauce Club.
Okay.
Exactly what you are discussing. We were planning to bring in like 3 to 4 people from an industry. So, you know, maybe one day it's like the CPG industry, one day it's the restaurant industry, maybe one day it's like tech. And we were just going to have conversations with people where we cook food, like we're there cooking food. We had little like coasters with questions on it. And just hang out, discuss things.
We'd love to be there.
And so,
all over it, man.
Describe it exactly. Tocha Sauce Club. We had
we're all over it.
Off to the end of the year, just because we were doing so many things, including switching to a new facility soon. And so, but we are definitely doing Tocha Sauce Club, and we haven't done the inaugural one. So I think I just found some of my initial guests with Tocha Sauce Club.
I'll tell you what, we'll get him on one of his journeys out here, and we'll do it. Yeah, and you're close to me. We can either do it here. We can do your place. You pick. I don't care which one we do.
I'm 100% in.
Let's do it. I love this idea. It's funny. We've been talking about this a while, and then yesterday we were on this when I was walking. I was at La Grotta and I was walking the street because that's how I pick up my phone calls. And we were shooting the shit about this. And man, there's a cool new one on the Food Network. I saw the commercial again today. I can't remember who.
I'm all over. So the one that I love the most, I've been watching them like crazy, is one called Dish. You know, and Dish is sponsored by Waitrose, right? And so like, and I love that show. Like, I love, you know, the way they talk about food, and then, you know, it's not, you know, they don't show all the cooking bits, but they do talk about, you know, like they spend an inordinate amount of time talking about food, and then how people think about food. And then they always talk about Sunday roast, right? Like, because they're a UK based show. So, you know, that's not different than talking about eggs, right? Like, eggs is like a weekend morning thing that everybody loves, right? So it's
I mean, how cool would this one be though, with the horseradish and stuff, with some roast beef?
I'm a food romantic, so shows like that are my jam. Like, I've watched every episode of Iron Chef. I've watched, you know, every episode of Chef's Table. I've watched every episode of like a Top Chef. Like, I love cooking shows, whether it's like a competition or just like a biography of a chef or a restaurateur. And so this would actually be a dream to create. So.
You know, you got to watch one time because you'll probably like it. It's old, right? We're talking like, might have been late 70s, early 80s. Floyd. I can't remember Floyd's last name, but it'd be Floyd on Ireland, Floyd on Britain, Floyd on Italy. And he was in essence, he was hilarious. Like, he was this drunk cook. Kind of like a Bourdain, but before Bourdain. I think Bourdain probably took a lot from Floyd. And it was fantastic. He'd be on like a little bullshit boat like a tugboat for 2 people and in a galley, and he'd cook up a meal like everywhere. It was awesome. Like you two would probably love Floyd. Can't remember his last name. He's passed, if I'm not mistaken, but he was so funny.
Well, I love it.
No, if you find it, let us know, because I'm definitely.
I think you both would love it.
That sounds up my alley. I'm a huge fan of Bourdain and the kind of stuff he did. So
I love Anthony. I love Bourdain. That was such a sad day.
Yeah,
I actually remember that day because I grew up in Singapore, so a bunch of my friends from high school had come to New York. I was in Atlanta, and they were like, "Hey, come meet us." And I had like a whole bunch of like airline miles because I used to travel a ton for work, sales and development. And so I flew to New York on points, met up with them, and Bourdain passed away that day.
Yeah.
So we ended up going to like a local bar in New York, and we all just drank Negronis the whole night because that was his drink of choice. Like I'd gone to Rome with the family, and I watched his like Rome special beforehand, and we like tried to find the places he went to. It was like I was like a big fanatic. He had a quote which I love. I may butcher it, but I think it went something like, "A little bit of sauce covers up a multitude of sins." And I think when we were forming Tocha, I had that like every few days it'd be on my phone notes page, and I'd always like put a dot on it so it would go to the top of the notes folder or remove the dot. Yeah. So I look forward to checking out Floyd.
I sent it to you guys in the chat. It's old, so I mean this shit's dated, right? It might have been like I might have been a mid-teens. So this is like I'm guessing I'm sure I was still back in trail. So this is like early 80s. That's a guess, but I still love and as soon as he'd come on, it might have even been university when he was still around. I'd get a glass of wine. It was like when I watched Bourdain. When the first time I saw Bourdain, I watched, oh my God, you got to have a drink when this guy's doing shit. Like, who cares? Even if he's not doing anything, you just got to have a glass of wine with you or something. Because it was just like, oh my God.
Yeah. So cool.
Oddly enough, that makes complete sense to me.
Yeah.
I know, right?
You get it? Yeah.
It's kind of that inspiration those kind of guys give you, right?
I threw another one in there called Culinary Class Wars. It's on Netflix.
Oh, I love Culinary Class Wars.
Isn't it hilarious?
Oh, it's incredible.
So hilarious. Like,
God.
I haven't seen this one.
Korean reality shows in general are incredible, but like Culinary Class Wars, oh my God.
Kenny, it's crazy. Like you get a trained chef and then they throw some ama.
I like when they do things like that, though. I think those are fun.
Also, the 2 judges are just incredible.
Yeah.
It's rare that I say that the judges of a food show are the ones who make the show.
Yeah.
The 2 judges for that show are just incredible.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for the next season. I'm assuming there's a next season, but like, oh my God, Culinary Class.
How can it not? I think it just won awards and everything, so it's gotta.
It's best time to bail out, though, right? End on the high.
Oh no! Netfllix doesn't allow you to bail out.
No, there's no such thing. We'll drag it out too far.
No bail. Yeah.
Have you guys ever watched John Favreau? He used to do.
Favreau's amazing
because he loves food. I mean, I
think I gained so much
people
weight
who love food.
Favreau. Oh. Yeah.
You get so hungry watching these stupid shows.
Yeah. You always watch them with food in hand. That's the goal.
Oh my God, I just love it.
Food in hand, I have to put something on the TV before we start eating. So always.
I think I'm gonna go thaw some fish for a late dinner. Maybe I'll try with your the ginger one.
We have 2 fish recipes on the website. One is a salmon.
I never read those. I just do my own thing, and then because I just love farting around with it.
That's fair. Just throw yuzu on there.
I mean, how you can't go too wrong with you. Like really, that's the thing, though. Like it's you can't. So if people are listening to this, you can tell Phil and I are a little biased, not a lot, just a little biased. But it is so easy to use, and it is kind of like a different spin. That again, you'll listen to thinking, okay, I don't understand what these people are talking about. You got to try it. Like trust us.
Definitely try it. Like it's
you do. You got to try it. There's no other way to say it. You just got to give it a shot.
Thank you so much.
Our pleasure.
If people want to find you, where do they find you?
Yeah, we are most easily available on our website, tochafoods.com, TOCHA. We have free delivery across Canada on 3 bottles. And we're starting to be in more and more retailers. So we have a retailer map on our website that shows all the locations, but We're in every country grocer on the island. We're in Gourmet Warehouse, Wells, small independent stores like Jackson General and Federal Store, the UBC Bookstore, small chain of stores called Makers. All of it's on our website, but we've slowly started expanding outside the province too. So we just got Community Natural Foods in Alberta.
Stores.
Have a lot of great people
Good
too.
stores.
Yeah, great people. I'm actually going to be in Stampede for like a Taste of Western Canada event. So I told them I'm going to come and do demos myself there as part of the trip. We have a couple of stores in the territories.
Amazing.
So like,
You're telling us that you got someone up there who's hooked on this shit.
Yeah.
It blows my mind to this day. Like, it's also a lot more expensive to ship to the territories than it is to the provinces. So really glad to have a retail presence. But yeah, online is the easiest way to find us. Instagram at Tocha Foods and website at tochafoods.com.
And if anybody wants to chat with you, LinkedIn?
LinkedIn, yeah, I'm very active on LinkedIn. I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm pretty sure it's my personal phone number that's all over the place. So text me.
No calling, no texting, just LinkedIn.
Yeah,
just like and just share. Like and share.
I was like, I probably should have just said LinkedIn, but no.
Just like and share. It's all good.
Yeah. Very active on LinkedIn. The Tocha Instagram page, it's me and our chief marketing officer who are the two ones who are looking at everything. So if you message us on Insta, I'll generally be one of the people who's responding back to you too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this.
My friend, always a treat to talk to you.
Yeah.
It went by.
Hey, we had a podcast out of this. Who knew?
Time flew by. I was like, oh, it's already almost 3. Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to talk to y'all. And thank you so much for all of the help and support you've given us.
Always.
We're so green in the CPG space. We're so green in retail and food in general. That I think the coolest thing about both of you is that you've supported us without entirely tearing down all of our naive ideas about things, which I think is a rare skill. Because most people who give advice are giving advice in the context of what they know. And, when you come in with no idea of what you're doing and you're like, we're going to do XYZ things, it's super easy to be like, that's the dumbest thing I've heard. But instead of doing that, you actually give us very actionable support. I talk to people about it all the time. So super thankful.
I appreciate that. That's very kind of
you.
you.
We appreciate it. No, it's a privilege to watch you grow, and we're excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for you, man.
What happens next? So,
thank you so much.
And if you want to do dinner, we could do a little Korean place, probably right next to you. Sort of. That place is pretty good. Or used to be pretty good.
Really, almost next. The Italian wine shop on Nanaimo, VT, or that Greco-Roman place that's on Nanaimo.
Which on Nanaimo on Broadway, right on across from the Greek.
Yeah, I'm literally at the intersection of.
Because there used to be a little Korean place in there that was good at one time. I don't know if they're still there or not.
I think I
can't remember the name of it.
But no, let's catch up. Let's do a drink commercial.
Love it.
Yeah,
sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks, buddy boy. Okay. Phil, you gonna stay around for a second?
Yep.
Viggy, go enjoy your afternoon.
Will do, sirs. Later.
Bye.
Take care, buddy boy.
He's so great. I like him a lot.
No, I like him too. He's a good guy.
But
he's got a neat product. He really does. It's kind of one of those. Yeah, I still don't really have to tell people what it is, but it's sauce without the heat is one of those things that you hear and you think, oh, what the hell does that have you mean? And yet when you try it, you'll totally get. Oh, okay, that was exactly what I meant.
Yeah. It's really delicious.
Very, very cool.
Okay. That is it. I'm hungry. It's 6:00 here. I want to go make dinner.
Yeah, dear thing. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Okay, and I'm